first up, he is a chef, restaurateur, Food Network star, and author, and chances are you have his cooking line in your kitchen.
Yep.
I'm sure Jeff does.
Oh,
Please
yes.
welcome to DBL, Chef Emeril Lagasse.
Chef, so excited to speak with you. You opened your first restaurant at 31. You got your own TV show at 34 and was named Chef of the Year by GQ at 39. All of those coming at once, did you feel ready for it all?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think the premise of your show that it's never too late is so true. I think that people should not be afraid to start late in life, pursuing what they want to do and make them happy.
I agree.
I love that. You received numerous awards throughout your 40s and 50s in an industry that is filled with so many young chefs. So what advantages has your age given you over the years?
Well, I think like with any craft, you know, experience goes a long way. And as you begin to get more experience, you know, and I'm still reaching for the stars. I mean, you know, I have no intention of slowing down. I have no intention of retiring. We just reopened the flagship just 3 nights ago.
Wow.
After being closed since June. And after 33 years, we closed the restaurant. We totally gutted the restaurant, and we've started a new era, a whole new.
Wow, beautiful.
Wow.
And my son is now the chef patron of the flagship, and we have a lot of exciting projects happening in our group. And hey, every day we just keep pushing, and we try a little bit harder today than we did yesterday, and try to get a little bit better.
That's our motto too here, seriously.
Absolutely. Chef, I want to get to your son following in your footsteps, but first I just want to thank you, because as a young man, I learned to cook, I think, through you. You made it cool, you made it fun. Now I have a family. When people come over, I entertain. I cook every day, and I think that's all to you, man, so thank you for that. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. And now your son, like you said, is following in your footsteps. What does that mean for him to follow in your footsteps at such a young age?
Well, I mean, he is young, but I was very young too when I took over Commander's Palace. He's a little bit younger than I was when I took over Commander's, but you know, he's had some exceptional training. I mean, he you know, beside growing up with me in the kitchen and growing up in the restaurant, since he was a little boy, you know, when he finally told his mom and I that we were having dinner in New York, and he said, you know, I've decided. He was like 13, and he said, I decided what I want to be and what I want to do. I want to be a chef.
Wow.
And so during the dinner, I said, well, you know, I'm a little surprised because we never had this conversation. But the one thing that we have to do is you're going to have to leave the nest eventually and get out there and do it. He was born in New York. So when he was 15, 16, he went back to New York and lived the summers, and he worked at Le Bernardin for Chef Eric Repair, who has become a big mentor of his and like a second dad. He worked for Danielle Boulou in New York as well, and then he went to culinary school. He went to Johnson & Wales, my alma mater. He went there and sort of aced that, and then he moved to Europe, worked in London at Core for several months, and then he went to Sweden and worked at Franzen.
Wow.
Worked in Lisbon and worked for Henrique in Lisbon. And then he finally went back to London, and that's when I said, hey, Ej, it's time to come home. I need your help. I have, you know what I have, this dream of redoing the restaurant, and I want to do it. And he came back. Nothing was ever said about position or this. He just came in the restaurant, and within a few weeks, he took over the restaurant.
Man.
So it was great.
That just, what you just described is what every father wants to say at some point. I'm looking at Jeff, his eyes are watering. I feel, it was just, you talked about a dream, man. And I want to know, what would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give to a younger you as you were about to start on the journey you went on?
Well, you know, I don't have any regrets. I mean, I also had some great training, not as great as EJ, but the times were different. But I did have some really good training, mostly in Paris, a little bit in Lyon. But I think what really solidified things for me was that I had one of the best mentors in the world, at least I think one of the best mentors in the world, and that was Ella Brennan at Commander's Palace. When I took over Commander's Palace as the chef, you know, I knew that I could cook, but I really didn't have too much of an idea of what a true outstanding restaurateur and what really hospitality meant. And she taught me a lot about hospitality and about running a restaurant. To the last 4 years of my tenure there, I was not only the chef, but I was also the general manager, so I ran the restaurant from the kitchen. But her and her brother Dick were true mentors of mine, but Ella especially, and Ella, she couldn't boil water, but boy, but she knew food like you wouldn't believe. And I remember every Saturday we would sit down for about an hour in her office in the afternoon, and we would have some cookbooks out, and we would talk about how we were gonna, you know, could we Creolize this dish, and could we Emerilize this dish, and could we do this, and could we do that? And it was a lot of memories working there, and really groomed me for, you know, for being a restaurateur and a chef 33 years later, as I said, the flagship.
Beautiful.
And hey, yeah.
No.
What an honor talking to you. Yeah.
Beautiful words.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wish we could have a whole show with you. DBL Nation, check out Emeril's in New Orleans. It's reopened after months of renovation. Also check out his website, emerils.com. This reopening is just one of his many projects in the works. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now to learn more. Thank you, Emeril, so much for joining us.
Congrats
on
Thanks,
everything.
Chef.
Thank you.
Chef.